Foxcatcher is directed by Bennett Miller and stars Steve Carell, Channing Tatum, and Mark Ruffalo, and it's the true story, a very disturbing and creepy true story, of a wrestling team headed by a guy named John DuPont, who's a very rich, wealthy benefactor who lives in this mansion, who invites Channing Tatum, who's a once Olympic gold medalist winner, to practice wrestling and hopefully win another gold medal. Now, his brother is played by Mark Ruffalo, and the three of them don't get along very well, which leads to some tragic and very unsettling results. Now, I loved Bennett Miller's last film, Moneyball, which also just so happens to be a true sports-related story. And there's a lot of hype behind Foxcatcher, largely because of the performances, particularly Steve Carell, who's unrecognizable as this guy John DuPont, and he gives a performance that's definitely career-defining at this point, and to say he's creepy in the movie is a disservice. This guy is disturbingly, chillingly disgusting. I mean, you just can't even stand to watch him sometimes. Not to be overlooked, though, is Channing Tatum in this movie, who maybe gives the best performance in the whole movie. I think that a lot of people are looking at Steve Carell because he's a comedian and his face is different, and it's like, whoa, what is he doing? But Channing Tatum in this film gives a performance that is so restrained, and you can read so much on his face, and the moments that he does have outbursts, you can just feel his pain and the torment of this character, and I think he was brilliant in this movie. But I also want to give a lot of credit to Mark Ruffalo because he's one of my favorite actors. He has been ever since I saw him in Michael Mann's Collateral back in 2004. And in this movie, he plays a father who's very protective of his family, but also of his brother. And you can just feel the warmth in him as a person. But you can also feel his totally legitimate concern when he sees Carell and Tatum and their relationship and the strange things that are happening there. He's great in the movie as well, and I honestly think all three of those performances are worthy of Oscar nominations. I also think the movie doesn't work without those performances. Foxcatcher is a very slow-paced movie. Now, I like slow-paced movies. This movie is excruciatingly slow. And I'm talking, there are moments where there are entire long 3, 4, 5-minute scenes and you wonder, what really was the purpose of that scene? I won't spoil it just in case you don't know the true life story, but the thing that John DuPont eventually does was something that no one seemed to understand. This movie tries to make a statement as to why he did what he did, and it makes sense, but I do feel like at the core of Foxcatcher, the emotional aspect of it is very hollow. It's an emotionally distant film that's really hard to read. Channing Tatum's character in the movie is the one that you feel the most connected to. In a way, he's the lead performance of the movie, even though some people are saying that Steve Carell is the lead performance. In my opinion, Channing Tatum is the heart and soul of this movie. You feel for his character, you understand in some ways why he is as tormented as he is. But certain things that eventually happen in the movie and certain character motivations just don't make any sense. And a lot of that is because the real life story doesn't make any sense either. But I do feel that the emotional core of Foxcatcher feels very blank. Combine that with the slow pace and the fact that you can't really understand some of the character motivations behind this movie. Certain aspects of Foxcatcher didn't work for me. I think it's a gorgeously shot movie. I think the performances are completely out of this world, and it's totally worth seeing for both of those aspects. But I also think that this is a damn good movie that I never want to see again. Have you guys ever had that experience where you see a film and you're like, wow, that was really good? I never want to see that again though, ever, because it was just so creepy and disturbing in all the wrong ways, and it makes you feel icky and dirty like you're just sitting in a pile of slop and you never want to experience that again. I'm gonna give Foxcatcher a B-. I do think it is a good movie. I just, however, think it's a good movie that wouldn't be as good unless it had such anchored and wonderful performances, and the story of Foxcatcher is so emotionally hollow and difficult to understand, and that's one of the things that I had a hard time with, not so much the excruciatingly slow pace as many other people have had a problem with. If you've never seen a Bennett Miller film, I'd recommend Capote or Moneyball. I think those are both much better films than this. It is still a good movie and worth seeing for its performances, but not one that I ever care to see again. So guys, I have a question for you. What's a movie that you recognize was really good, but you can't even imagine watching it again? Thanks as always for watching, guys, and if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.